Usually I'm just like, hey guys. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
We're with Magdalene right now. Good old triple triangle girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
So I know you're a fan of movies.
Yep.
And I believe you have a very strong opinion on them. So we're gonna do top 3 movies.
Okay, I'm on it.
You want to go first?
Yeah. Are we doing like top 1 or top?
So
start with 3.
it's a draft. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So am I starting with my favorite or
Yes.
my least favorite out of the 3?
I mean, you can start with your least favorite, but
All right.
Unless you're scared, we're gonna take yours.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go 3 to 1. So 3. This one's gonna be my least favorite out of 3. Okay. Matilda. You ever seen Matilda?
Never seen that. Is it a Disney movie?
oh, I've heard you talk about it.
It's like the one where she was like adopted by her like these parents and they were so bad to her. And like Miss Honey from the school and Miss Trunchbull. Never seen it? They throw the kids in the I think it's called the chokey and it's like the door with all the spikes. And then the guy the kid, his name's Bruce, he eats the chocolate cake.
I mean, explaining more and more about the movie is not gonna make me know it.
Okay. I don't know how
Is it old?
I mean, yeah, kind of. It's like I watched it as a kid. You don't know about the chocolate cake?
Talk about Willy Wonka?
I know, like,
No.
Portillo's chocolate cake.
All right. All right.
Is it my turn then, Colin?
Yeah.
All right. My number 1 is The Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Well, let me describe it a little.
Okay.
Maybe it's gonna spark your interest.
It's about this guy who gets basically his wife is murdered, I think, and they think it's him, and he goes to jail, and it's not actually him though. And the whole time he's like trying to get out, and it just ends in it's a crazy twist. I won't give out too much, but you should watch it.
He tries to break out of
It has Morgan Freeman. In it.
Morgan Wallen.
I would watch it if it was Morgan Wallen.
My number 1, Interstellar.
Ah,
Talk about best movies. Interstellar's got to be on our list.
Maddie has my list. Just so I can remember that's one of my favorites.
Is it snake draft? So technically, I'd go next, or
hold up. I feel like we could talk about Interstellar a bit. You know,
I'm not gonna
What's
lie
your
to you.
favorite
I've barely watched it, but I just know it's one of the best.
Did you watch it in the?
Yeah.
When we were on the track when I brought it. Is that when you watched it?
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Apparently, it got re-released in theaters again.
Really? I think my favorite is when they're on the. I don't even know the planet's name. The water planet.
Yeah. I like the scene where he's Well, there's I like 2 of the sad scenes. One where he's like has to when he comes back from the planet, he has to watch his kids grow up, and then the other one where like he can see him about to leave, and he's like banging from like behind the like I don't know what it even is. Have you seen it, Maddie?
No, personally, I have not seen it.
Well, you just didn't watch it on the bus then.
I liked it so much that I learned how to play it
on the
piano.
bus.
So.
I played it on the bus on the track meet.
Were
you not here during that time?
There was probably 2 buses too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, you should watch it.
Okay.
All right, back to Maddie.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys did number 1, but I think I did number 3. It's fine. I'm doing number 2 now.
Oh yeah, I did that.
I'm taking number 1. Be careful.
Home Alone.
That's pretty good.
The one where they're lost in, it's like, is it Paris maybe? I don't know. Not the New York one.
Paris?
Where did
Is it the same kid?
Who's in Paris?
Yeah. You know,
Is it
there's like a bunch of different Home
the
Alones.
family goes there, or the one
yeah,
that he's
where
in?
he gets on the wrong plane.
Okay.
Oh,
wait, so maybe that is New York. Okay, yeah, that's my second favorite movie of all time. You ever seen it?
I don't.
I mean, I've definitely seen it before. I just don't know the difference between them all.
There's like 2 or 3.
The first one is where he's stuck at home and he lives in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then which one is this one?
The New York one is where they rush to the airport. They're late, like the first one. But when he gets so far behind that he gets on the wrong plane, and his family goes across the country, and then he goes to New York.
I don't know if I know that one, but that sounds fun.
I mean,
is it the
it's
same
the
kid
same
that does
concept.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same concept in every movie.
Okay.
I've seen the other Home Alone where it's the new kid.
I literally started to watch that and I turned it off.
It's not as good.
It's got to be Kevin and the normal Kevin.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be watched at Christmas any time of year.
That's true. I enjoy that one. I always imagine myself doing those things.
The kid, what Kevin does, or the like robbers?
That's crazy. Of course, what the kids do.
Kevin, what Kevin does.
Okay.
All right, my second is Surf's Up.
Okay.
That's fire. Let me be me.
Interesting.
Let Cody be Cody.
So are you just like strictly only videos we watch on the track list?
Did I bring that on the track?
I think
Yes.
so.
I wish.
Or no, was that flushed away?
We have flushed
That might
away.
have been. That
Did
might have
we
been
watch
flushed
like
away.
Wreck-It Ralph or something?
I think so at one
Maybe.
time. Similar movies like that. But I love Surf's Up. Top notch movie.
Sure. I think my next one's gonna be Forrest Gump.
I've never seen it.
Are you
Really?
a dad?
It's just a classic. It's so good.
Okay.
It's just
Is
a
it?
classic movie. It's like it
Isn't
has
it being good?
Huh?
Isn't it being good? Like I don't even know what
the story at the end. Oh no.
All I know is that it just I run.
The movie's literally like 4 hours long. It's such a long
wow.
movie. It's probably not 4 hours, but it's like definitely like 3, because it's like literally just everything. Because it's like it has funny stuff, it has emotional stuff, it has everything.
Nice. Well, maybe I'll watch it someday.
Is it my turn again?
Yep.
Okay. Top best movie of all time. You guys are probably gonna make fun of me, but hey, what's new? Shark Boy and Lava Girl. There, I said it.
Oh no.
That's your number one.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's your number one?
Yes.
When's the last time you watched?
When's the last time I watched it? Honestly, I can't remember.
With like Mr. Electro?
Yes.
It's George
And
Lopez.
Mr.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Linus.
Dude, I was watching
Dream.
It's
Close your
on my-
eyes, shut your mouth.
on my TikTok. It kept popping up, and I remember like, it used to be like it was a fire show.
Yes.
I look back, and it's literally the most fake CGI edited thing in the
bad.
world.
As a kid, it was not fake.
No,
It was
I
so
agree. As a
real.
kid, it was literally like I'm living there with Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I
But
know.
now it's just like
Is it the same one with like Carmen and like the Spy Kids type thing?
it's the
kinda
same.
like
It's
that.
like the same thing.
I
It's
thought there was
just-
one where where Lava Girl and Shark Boy were in there, but with like because they was like in the video game, right? And like
I think there might have been.
Yeah,
Like,
because
the
they
second
go
one.
into that like alternate world up in
Mhm.
space, and
Yeah,
that's where they
Towards
do
the end.
the
Yeah.
dream.
I don't remember that.
I
but
know you've heard the remixes
No.
to that.
I probably have.
Close your
But,
eyes,
probably.
shut your mouth.
oh,
Can you do one for us?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Close your eyes, shut your mouth.
now I have some movies to bring
Mm-hmm.
on the track bus.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
All right, my third one is Stand By Me. You guys seen that? It's an older movie.
No.
It's about this group of kids, like back in the, I don't know if it's 80s, but they're all friends. They're all different life stories. One's getting beat by his dad. One's just doesn't have a good family. But they go on, they decide to all kind of just run away and go look for this dead body. And they just have adventures along the way. Then they find it, and it's just a really good story. It's fun.
There's a very obvious difference in our movies.
I have a.
Mine are all kids movies.
I have
I
one
love kids movies too.
that's like. I want like a super funny one. But I'm just gonna go with a classic that you like. I can watch still to this day. Is Cars. I feel like I could be entertained. Just put Cars on. That was my show when I was a kid.
Isn't there like another Cars movie coming out?
Yeah, I'm probably like I'll probably end up watching it. But it's like just it's such a classic and so well done.
Good old Mater.
It's like you could give kids watch Cars now and it would make sense. Like it would be entertaining. But like you let them watch, or maybe you said, might not be entertained.
They
So you
will
wouldn't like Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Not no
come on.
the first one.
What's the first one? Matilda?
Milton.
That just sounds like the name just makes me want to like.
Cry.
That's what my
Yeah.
mom calls me when I'm a brat. She calls me Matilda.
Speaking of Denise, I met Well, I guess I met normal Denise, but I also met Flat Denise.
Flat Denise?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
has a cardboard cutout of her mom.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking my mind was in a different place.
Well, was it your grandparents' house?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Whenever
basically-
I literally walk in the door and it's just Flat Denise is sitting in
Yeah.
her living room.
Her 50th birthday, her friends got her this big cutout of herself, and it's life size. Like, it's my mom, same height, everything. And it just became a running joke. So, like, I've been late home some nights, and then it'll just be sitting in the living room. Or, like, in my closet, so when I opened up the...
That's terrifying.
Yes, but it moved to my grandparents' house, which now my brother lives in. But yeah, when we went on the Alabama trip, Flat Denise was in Marion.
Yeah.
You
And
should,
all my friends got... I should have brought her back.
yeah.
All right, next time I'm on it.
All right.
Just if you get your mom, then you can like hug it.
Imagine
That's
getting,
so weird.
imagine getting pulled over and then it's just, that also tends to happen to me too. So like I don't know, maybe that wouldn't be a good idea.
How many times have you been pulled over?
So I actually been pulled over 3 times in my 3.5 years, or almost 4 years of driving.
How many of them were in the past?
2 of them in the past 3 months. 1 of them in the past 3 weeks.
For what?
Okay, so first time was texting and driving. Anyways, moving on.
Texting and
Yeah,
driving.
I got a ticket because I was mean to the cop. Don't be mean to the cop. Second time, basically, I was driving home late at night and I was going really fast. Like I was going like I think he said 82 and a 55. Yeah. So basically, I was driving 82 and a 55 and I saw him coming this way and I was like, how many times do cops turn around when you pass them? Like literally 1 out of 10.
When you're
times.
speeding a good amount of time.
Okay, then maybe I've just gotten lucky in the past. And like 5 minutes later, I look in my rear mirror, and you know how you can tell when it's like the forward lights or like the like because they're like the white ones. And so I look and I see him in my rear mirror. I'm like, okay, just accepting my fate, you know. All right, just whatever. Lights go on.
Oh.
Apparently, when I was looking in my rear mirror, I swerved over. Okay, so he pulls me over. Grace of God, I wasn't freaking out. But don't worry, the story gets worse. So basically, he pulls up. He's like, "Well, I pulled you over for this and swerving over into the lane. Can I have your insurance?" Okay. I have probably 40 documents in my glove compartment. So I pull it out. I'm like searching through this. Is this it? No. Is this it? No. Is this it? No. And then he's like, "All right, I'll be back." So he gets back. He comes. He says, "Ma'am, can you please step out of the car?" What? And I'm like, "Yes, sir." So I get out. I had gum in my mouth. He's like, "Can you spit your gum out?" Yes. Then he says, "Can you get in the back of my car?"
You're getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally kidding me. You did not just ask me to get in the back of your car. So I get in the back.
Were you crying at all right now?
No, I wasn't. Literally, I'm pretty sure it's because of God. I know it was because I was. Listen, they don't teach you this in school, but the back of cop cars are about this wide, okay? And it's pitch black. It smells like weed. Like I was freaking out internally. So I just talked to him the whole time, and I'm like, he thought I was drunk because I swerved, and he's like, "How much have you been drinking tonight, man?" I was like, "None at all." And he said, "If you're lying to me right now, it's gonna be a big deal for both of us." And I was like, "I'm not lying to you. Like I promise, I'm not drinking." And then I pulled the dad card because my dad's a sergeant at the prison. So I'm like, "Yeah, my dad's actually a sergeant at the prison, so like he would kill me if he knew I was drinking." And he thought I was vaping too because my car has like this circular start. And I don't know why he thought that was like a vape charger.
What?
That's when I pulled the dad
Like the
card.
push the start button?
Yeah, I don't know. He said he saw some light, and I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. And then I just talked to him the entire time because if not, I knew I would start flipping out. And I was debating on whether or not I'm like, "Hey, sir, I cannot be in this closed space right now. You're gonna have to let me out, or do I just open the door myself?"
No.
But then
Oh,
I knew that wouldn't work, so I was like, "Okay, just talk to him all the time." And then somehow I got a written warning.
Out of all that, just a
All of that.
You'd probably be scared of your dad.
I honestly think it was a dad card. So I'm gonna continue using that one if I can.
Did you have to did you not do any sobriety test?
No, and if I would have, I probably would have failed because my anxiety was so high.
For me, it's like, sir, please walk in a straight line. I'm like, all right, I can do that. I can do all that stuff. Recite the ABCs backwards. I can barely do that forward sometimes. You think like
ZYX?
like if I was like
Over you.
I couldn't do that like right now.
I can't walk in
I
a straight
can't.
line right now either.
That's a little bit concerning.
Especially, I feel like I'd be nervous and be like, just
yeah, exactly.
wobbly.
I'd be like, you have to breathalyze
Well,
me because I can't.
At the
do
end of the
this.
day, it's like you do that and then they breathalyze you. Like they're not just like, oh, you're arrested off the failed thing that gives you the reason to breathalyze you, and then if you blow zeros, it's like, oh well.
That's true.
And if they still bring you in, you get a bag.
I know.
So
and my dad was so mad that they put me in the back of the car. He was like, "You should have just said no and let them arrest you and then take you to the jail and then you would have got money." Okay. Because I want to get arrested.
Then you would have cried.
I literally
no,
would. I'd be like,
it's very tough for me to
I
see
need
what I would
bail.
do in that situation. But like straight up, if I know like I'm in the back of a cop car, I'm not gonna shut up because I know and I know speeding now. I guess what is that? You said you're going 83 and 55, so almost 30 over is criminal speed. So technically, that is an arrest-worthy offense.
Just start screaming, "I want a lawyer."
So like technically, like if you did get arrested, like they could flip it on that technically. But like if you don't like aren't criminally speeding and you still get like arrested, shut up. You get a bag, you get a bag.
I literally just had to talk because I was gonna have a
Yeah.
panic attack.
Do you think that if you treated the cop the same way you treated the first one, you would be in jail still?
Oh, 100%. The first time I got pulled over, I was so mad because I got in a wreck like my junior year, and then I didn't have a car for like 4 months, and it's frustrating because I'm just too busy now to have a car. And so I finally got my car, and I didn't have tint on it, which I like can't do a car without tint. No offense if you have a car without tint, but. And I was like pulling up to a stoplight, and I like changed my music, looked up at the stoplight, looked back at my phone, and then it was like this. And the cop pulled up behind me, and I was so.
Were you actually texting, or was it just?
I don't
just
remember. I
check the
think
phone?
I probably was, but I told him I was just changing my music.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yeah, blah blah blah," and I was just so mad. He's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over today?" I was like, "No." He's like, "You're on your phone." I said, "Okay, I must have been. I'm sorry." So rude. $164 ticket.
Wow.
Yeah. So this next time I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And then I got pulled over like 3 weeks ago, maybe going home from here, like almost to Pana, and I was like 100 yards away from a 65, and I was already going 70. And he pulled me over, and he was like, he didn't even like put it in the system. He said it was a verbal warning. He didn't even go back to his car once. He looked at my license. He looked at my insurance. And he was like, "Yeah, you're super close to the 65. Just be careful. Have a safe drive home." I was like, "What?"
Do you have the insurance at the time?
Actually, no, I didn't.
You were going back to go get it, right?
Yeah, I didn't have my insurance. But apparently you don't need that, actually.
If you actually have it, you don't need the card. Like, because
Yeah.
like if it's actually up to date,
I
and they
think
can
they
check on
just
the
need
system.
your registration and your license, and I had both of that, but my insurance was expired.
Yeah.
It's not like technically expired, but the paper copy I had was expired.
But I mean, I got pulled over and it was literally like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh no, like I'm gonna be here for like a good 30 minutes because like.
Yeah, it usually takes forever.
Especially because they normally have to have a second cop.
Really?
Because at one point, there was an officer that like did a normal traffic stop, walked up to the window, and we just popped him. And so it's like from then on they like, especially at night when I can't see in the car, they wait for a second officer for backup. But I'm guessing like it was daytime. Like my car has no tint. It's like they saw it, and then when he went up to the window, like I had 3 Bibles on the dash. I was clearly in my church outfit, so it's like, and I'm clearly in Milliken suit, so it's like, okay.
Did he give you a ticket?
He gave me a warning. You know, he was literally like, "You know why I pulled you over?" He's like, "No, like, I didn't. I knew I was probably going fast. I never say yes. I always just say no because it's like, if you say yes, then you're technically admitting to it. So I just say no, no matter what. Like, no, I didn't. Like, okay, I clocked you going this fast. I'm like, interesting. Okay. Like, did you know? Like, I didn't say anything. I was like, okay. And then he's like, "I'm just gonna give you a written warning. Can I see your license registration?" Looked at it, walked back, printed out the thing, and handed it like, "You're free to go." I'm like, oh, it's a lot easier than I thought.
That's crazy because sometimes it takes forever.
Was the back of the cop car, is it like a door handle still when you're in the back?
So actually, it was so dark I couldn't see. I think so.
I think there has to be in case like they were to crash. Like there has to be. Like,
yeah, but if there was, then criminals would just escape.
I know that's true.
There's like,
well, I think
there was like this much area between me and him. You know how like in those old trucks you got that little sliding door? Like that's all there was between the front seat and the back seat. And then it was like super, like I feel like the seats had to be all the way back. Like, and he opened the door for me and shut it for me. And then he had to come around and open it for me.
I think since there's like a normal car, they have handles, but like there's a specific thing on the, like when you open the door like on the inside that like you like can manually turn out, like basically a child lock type thing. So like if you need, like you can have someone sit back there and like open it up, but, like it's not gonna be like a normal thing.
I feel like if I had cuffs, I always think if I was like trying to run, I could easily just jump and then like reverse under my feet and have it in front.
Let's try it.
I don't have cuffs.
Oh.
But like watch, see my hands are held together right now.
It's like that Long John show.
Look.
Well, how are you gonna be running?
If I have cuffs, this is easier.
Yeah. I know, I mean I agree, but
I can run. Hill.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I've always been like, all right.
Don't they go around your wrist though?
Exactly, it'd be easier.
Yeah, it's like this, and so
Oh, that might be harder actually.
I don't know. They're not that close though.
But I could do it
Mhm.
because it'd be like a little sag in them,
Mhm.
like not sag, but you know what I mean.
I've always
It's
been
not
like
slanky. What's the word I'm thinking of?
slack.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is slag.
I've always wanted to like imitate oh, not how to say this. Not imitate me committing a violent crime.
What?
Like the response I was like me like in a car, I'm running away from the cops, and then like eventually I take a foot race, all that. I want
You
to
have intrusive thoughts.
I want to experience that without the fact that like I just did something terrible
Like
and like, and
consequences.
going to jail. Yes, it's like I want to like, experience like a car chase, high speed chase,
I know.
and running from people. Now like I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get tased. It's like that.
I'd get tased.
But well, it's like when you're a kid, you know, you play like you get chased, right?
GTA?
It's like what?
GTA?
Yeah, like real life GTA where like there's no maybe not because you can do.
Oh, you mean okay? I'm
right. It's like the next level of that. It's like I want to like I'm fast. I could break some cops' ankles. I feel like it would be so much fun.
Well, some are just slow. We need to get a taser on here one
I
time.
feel
That'd
like
be part
our
of the
public
podcast.
safety officers at this campus would not run very fast.
Oh no.
They're just not giving fast.
There's been like
And not in a mean way. Don't take that in a mean way. It doesn't give fast.
There's been a few times where I'm like I'm not doing anything bad on campus, but it's like if they were to get mad, I'm like I know that they know the campus really well, but like I know it too. But it's like literally I'll just run because I know I'll outrun them for days.
Yeah.
So like all I have to do is get out of their eyesight and then loop around, and then I'm
We
gone.
live on a 4x4 campus. They might find me.
I mean, you can also
4x4
run outside of campus.
Like small is what I meant.
I know.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Plus, it's like I don't know. I feel like I can easily run a mile faster than they can. Let alone the fact that like if I actually have adrenaline, I can actually run that first 300 really fast.
Sometimes I think about if something were to happen while we were doing a track workout. Like sometimes they're just like, especially the other day when I was out there doing my workout by myself, there were like random people walking, and I was like, what would happen if something happened right now? Like, would I be able to run fast?
Like if they tried to attack you?
Yes. Like, listen, I always have a plan in my head about what I'm gonna do if something happens.
What's your plan right now?
Run that way. If someone came in that window right now, I'd probably run that way. Because they're gonna come this way.
Well, you know, I would do it if you were at practice. I would wait till you just run a really hard rep and you're down on the ground, and that's when I'm kidnapping you.
Maddie's like,
So
oh
what's
no.
funny is I actually was doing that. I actually was laying down on the ground like this.
Just get scooped.
No, I know.
Just take. It's like,
And I was thinking about like jumping over the fence. You know where like the one entrance is kind of like behind the volleyball courts and goes down the stairs.
Yeah.
It's always locked though, so I'd have to walk all the way over to the ramp, sprint down, go to Grace. Do you think I could do that after that workout? Probably.
You might have a lot of
adrenaline can do that. Now you might be very sore after. But hey.
Yeah, I thought about that. I always have a plan.
All right, speaking of track.
Okay.
What's your well? I'm gonna go a different route. What's your most embarrassing track run? I feel like you have a lot.
That's crazy. It might be true, but that's crazy to say.
Well, I guess being a hurdler, there's a lot.
Yeah.
You mean like college or like overall?
Just we can do college or overall.
Whenever I did this, mine was in high school.
You can give us multiple if you want to.
Well, my freshman year, I was running the 300 hurdles, and I was like at the start line with this girl, and she was like complaining about how she didn't want to run the race because she had just got back from cheer tryouts and all this stuff, and she was like, I really hope I fall on the first hurdle. And I was like, no, girl, don't say that. Like, you actually will fall if you do it. Gun goes off. It was me. I literally.
Did you get up and keep going?
No. Somebody was like, get up, keep going. And I was like, I can't. And I like looked up, and all my coaches were above me, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I had track burn. It was embarrassing.
Ooh. That's funny though. Kind of.
And then my senior year, I fell at the end of my sectionals race.
Stinky leg.
Stinky leg. Literally, I was winning the race. So somehow still made it to state.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know about college. There's a time I fell in the back of your guys' handoff video.
That was funny.
Oh yeah, did I post that?
I think you did.
I think so. Yeah.
Because I meant to zoom in on it.
I don't
and
think
I
you zoomed in.
completely forgot about it when I posted it.
Yeah. I would say just a bunch of hurdle falls. I can't really pinpoint one right now. Do you know? Since you said there's a lot.
No, I just feel like you've had embarrassing moments.
I definitely have, but I can't think right now.
Sure.
Sometimes embarrassing moments are when you like walk across campus and you get somewhere and someone's like your backpack's open. That's the worst.
Yesterday my bag was open and I didn't notice. Like someone could literally just come and just grab my computer out and I wouldn't even notice.
It's really embarrassing. Demos told me like 3 times in the past month that my backpack's been wide open. I'm like, wow, this is embarrassing.
Your bag is heavy too. I just moved it. What do you even like?
Yeah, what do you carry?
Like books in there? Like a million books?
No.
A gun?
Speaking of science major, so it's a little hard. Gotta have a lot of.
Oh yeah,
No,
not as hard as business.
Yeah, I heard that it goes like business majors on a scale of at Milliken. Business majors first, then like English, then I think it was like the
sports science.
It was like sports science, then it was just like science and like biology type stuff.
Yeah.
You might be looking at the wrong way.
That was like workload and ease.
Yeah,
of
that
classes.
was workload, and like compared to like classes and.
What
like,
do you
other
do
stuff.
for business class? Add numbers together?
That's math.
We do a lot, especially compared to you guys.
Oh, okay, all right, Bucko.
What does your average class day look like?
Learning chemistry that I don't understand.
I did that in high school. Business student. Boom.
This morning I did yoga for class. That's not a good defense.
Business, business is so hard. I did yoga this morning, guys.
Okay, but I'm talking about chemistry. It literally outweighs everything. Sports science, but then your chemistry credit way up.
Do you have
You
Guasco?
don't even have to take chemistry. What?
Do you have Guasco?
The teacher? No, I have Rodriguez.
He would literally call me because he knew I didn't have the answers. He's like, "What, Caleb? What do you think about this one, Caleb? You know what it is?" And I'm like,
That's
No.
Barnes.
Oh, actually,
There's Barnes.
Caleb knows because he's changed his major like 4 times.
"Yeah."
He's been in
It
all
was
the
too
schools.
easy that I was like,
Oh,
I started out
science was?
PT pre-med. No, I started out PT, like the whatever it's called, the pre-PT, and I was in biology and all that. And I was like, "This is college. Like this is so easy. Like I'm going to class. Like I have like 18, 19 credits, but it's like too easy." So I decided to go to AT, which got even easier. I was like, "Man, this is easy." So I was like, business. I was like, "This is a challenge. I'm gonna stick with business."
I think you're lying.
I don't know.
I think you're lying. It's fine. I mean, all trauma is valid, you know. I get it. But chemistry's crazy.
What do you want to be? Like, what's your major anyway?
I'm exercise science pre-PA. So I'll do 4 years of exercise science and then 2 years in med school. Be a physician assistant.
Physician assistant?
Yeah, which is like the step under a doctor. Like you've got nurse practitioner and PA, they're kind of on the same level, and then you have your physician. But when you go to the doctor, you probably see a PA or an NP.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Go.
Wait, hold on.
It'll be 2 years after you graduate.
2 years after I
Wouldn't that be
graduate
3?
here. Yeah, wait, hold on. 4, 6.
And
It would be the
she's a
year I'm
sophomore.
graduating, right? 2 years after I graduate.
Oh, it would be like probably the year you graduate from PA school.
Yeah, so 5 years from now, probably either in school still, unfortunately.
Married?
All right, let me ask. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years?
10 years is a little bit more. I forgot.
Are you having a wife? I mean, a husband and kids in 10 years?
Yeah, I want to have all. Wait, how old am I? I'm 19, so I want to have
Maybe
all my
29?
kids by.
Probably would be.
I want to have all my kids by 20. No more than 3.5.
By when?
Oh.
You got
I thought I was like,
a few
wait,
months
wait,
to work
wait,
on that, Maddie. That's crazy.
I have less than no. 30. Like actually, like 30.
Do you have your kids' names picked out already or no?
Mm-mm.
Magdalene Jr.
Mine as a kid, I always wanted Jamal Lewis.
Jamal.
But when the Lewis is spelled like Lew, there's Jamal Lewis Bly. It just sounds fire.
Jamal.
Yeah, I was like obsessed with that name as a kid.
Interesting. I actually, that's gonna reveal too much. It's a little bit weird. I'm not gonna say that. I have like baby names on my phone. Baby names.
Hey, any ladies watching this? Colin's a great husband. Or would be a great
I'm a great
husband.
husband, guys. Ask my wife that I don't have. Yeah.
It's okay. The Lord will provide.
Amen.
Unless you're destined to be single, Colin.
It is. If it is, that's what it is, right?
That's true.
Well, that's his plan. It's perfect.
Trusting in him.
I mean, I might disagree with it, but it's perfect. Like, no, oh well.
Yeah. All right, Maddie, what's your favorite Bible verse?
Proverbs 19:21, I think it is. It says, "The Lord's." Well, there's a bunch of different versions, but a man can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. Really good one, especially when I was going through a really hard time. My brother, like, really bad breakup my senior year, but we're not going to go into details. But my brother also is like really, I look up to him a lot. Like he's like, and he sent me like a big chunk of like Bible verses and texts that he's gotten from people. And that one, I like remember I was literally laying in bed crying, and I got it, and it was like, wow, okay, this is my favorite verse now.
Yeah.
I also really like "Be Still." Be still and know that I am God, which is Psalms 46:10. I'm gonna get it tattooed right here eventually when I have the money. I just don't know how much it's gonna be, so I'm just gonna reward myself when the time comes.
How much money do you have now?
I think I'm at 67.
Okay, I'm sitting.
Or maybe 87.
I'm like at 90. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm almost there. We're doing this thing where once I make enough money in Monkla's tips, cash tips, I can get a tattoo. But the problem is I work like twice a week, and then they never give me tips the night of, and I make like $3 a night. So that's like.
So it might take a while.
Yeah.
That might be when you guys are seniors. Or when you're a senior and he's a.
No.
Gone.
There's a lot of us. I think there's a lot of us that are gonna do it at the same time.
Oh.
I know Brock wants to.
He might do it with his mom.
Ashlyn said that she wants a tattoo at some point too. But.
Those are good verses. It's crazy how I feel like it's always hard times that always like bring us back to our faith or just closer to God.
Yeah. The other day in FCA we were talking about if you go to God more when you're struggling or if you go to God more when you're doing better. And like personally for me, I feel like I go to God more when I'm struggling. Because I feel like I tend to get in the habit of when everything's going right for me, I feel no need to go to God.
Yeah.
And then the second that like the switch flips, whatever, you get it.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, God, help me now. You know?
That's what I think we all got to work on that. But it's because like when everything's going well, like you said, it's like I don't like why it just doesn't feel like you need to do as much. But that's when you should be like thanking Him and just even more like that life's going great and like just I don't know.
The way I imagine it in my life now, I know it's not like 100% like accurate because like He's with you 24/7, so it's not. But like imagine like like hills and the valleys. Like He's with me down here, and then I kind of leave from Him up here, and that's why I keep going down. It's because it's like that's not necessarily true because He's like He doesn't leave me whenever I'm like anywhere in the hills and the valleys. But it's like if I was like I got out of the valley and I'm on the hill, and I just kept focusing on Him and kept doing the exact same thing I was doing in the hill or the valleys, and it's like how much greater those hills gonna be.
Well, exactly. And then being with God makes the valleys not as bad. Like we'll have joy, kind of like we've been talking about a lot. Yeah. Or we talked about a lot of the FCA the other day. Like that's what people notice when bad things happen to you when you're a Christian, that like you're able to have like peace in those like really bad moments.
Yeah. I think like with track too, especially this year, we've been talking a lot about our identity. And just realizing that I think this year God has showed me that my identity really is not in the track, just because of all the things that we've been like doing for Christ here, and just like how God is moving on this campus. Like obviously, I think I'm here for track, but I think there's more of a bigger picture than why I was brought here. You know, like there's just so many things that I'm like, wow. Like it's crazy how God works, and I never would have thought that a Sunday would consist of me like going to church and then going to a 2-hour worship session and then 2 hours later going to a 2-hour Bible study.
Yeah.
Because like this time last year I wasn't even going to church on Sundays, and I was too scared to go to FCA.
Wait, really?
Yes, I was intimidated by the room. I didn't know where it was, so I was like, I'm not going.
There's actually a lot of people that I've talked to that like didn't know the room, so they just don't go.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of crazy.
Should.
I didn't know where it was for the longest time. I was like, okay,
You could just ask one of
But
us.
it's kind of scary back in the. Because I remember me when I was a freshman and younger too. I was like, I hear about it. I honestly just didn't want to go back then. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I don't want to show up and then not know anybody. And then, and then I really wouldn't. I would just be like, all right, I'm not going.
That's exactly how I am. It's all about like walking into like I don't have someone by my side, I can't do it. I'm not like that anymore though. Sometimes I'm like I don't even care, like uncomfortable for like new things.
Yeah.
Last year, cause like you guys were going, but like we weren't really all that close as a friend group yet. But like Ashlyn wasn't going, and I didn't have Ashlyn to go with. I wasn't friends with any of the girls. Wasn't really friends with Tori, so at that point in time. So.
Yeah, and it's like the guy to girl ratio. I don't say it's a problem. It's like it's still just a lot more guys than girls, and especially like I don't fully understand girls in general. Like in the sense, period. You should just stop the sentence there. But like, especially in like there's like girl politics and where it's like it's just weird and like
girl math,
all that weird stuff. And so it's like if you don't know someone, like it's even a lot. It's like more awkward for girls and just like weird for girls to do that.
Well, girls think a lot about what people think.
And when you don't know anyone in it, it's like obviously like I know everybody or most of the people in it. On top of that, but it's like even if I didn't, like I would still go because it's like I like that's in the back of my head, but it's like not as prominent. Like if I know one person, I'm fine. Like if I knew you, like I would still be fine with going. But it's like also when we break up into guys and girls, then it's like that's even worse because you don't know.
I think it's easy to just say that we can invite people, but also it's like we got to see it from their perspective too. You know.
Is it just invite someone to church or anything in general, or just ask someone about God and then just like leave it at that? Because it's like, oh, I asked if they wanted to go to FCA. They said maybe, like I did my job. But like when you ask them, you kind of like that. It's more than that. You gotta like follow up, like, hey, like you can't just ask them once and then like, okay, I asked them once, like I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot more than that.
I mean, the Bible tells us that like we're called to be disciples. It's not that we're just called to say, hey, do you want to come to FCA? Like we got to do more work than that, even though it's hard, because we're gonna have people that are not gonna want to come whatsoever. And like the Spirit will work through them and change their hearts, but like we have to be that voice of reason for them. Like we have to talk them through that. And I think sometimes like obviously fear of judgment is why we don't invite people, or maybe we're comfortable, but we have to realize that there's more of a bubble than just like us going to church, you know. And I think that's hard, especially on this campus.
Yeah, I think a lot think they need to like change and be better before they come to like church things. But one thing I really saw on TikTok that actually I thought was really good, like I don't know quite know what I would say to people if like they're like I don't want to like change who I am or change to like become a Christian. And it's like when you're talking to them, like anybody can come to church, doesn't matter. But then you just kind of ask them, like just I pray that and ask that you're like open to what the Holy Spirit is like telling you and what's saying. Just like, but because you can come as you are, like because they're not telling them to change. You're just asking them to be open to what God's telling them. And then if they need to change, then they would have that feeling.
That's something that I've been really like reading a lot more about and like kind of really trying to focus on because it's like the Holy Spirit is like a tool that's been given to us, and it's like take a moment, think the Holy Spirit is Jesus living inside of you. Like that's powerful. That's huge. And like so often we're like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. Just like take a moment, pray about it, let the Spirit guide you. That's gonna be the correct thing that you need to do. And even if that's like in a conversation, you're like, yeah, all right, once I like pray to yourself, like, all right, like guide me in this conversation, because like if it's a tough conversation, he can help you. Even if it's just like a normal thing, like he can help you. And it's like you never know. Like if I'm like, hey Maddie, like come to church, and you're like, no, and then I pray that, and then he gives me something that you need to hear. Or like me normally, if I'm like, oh, I just really want to see Maddie here, I might say not the wrong thing, but I might not say the right thing. Like the Spirit knows exactly what to say.
Right. Yeah. That's something I've been realizing. Or like over the summer, I was praying about a lot of things, and like the more you're in your Word, the more He's gonna tell you. But like right now, like spiritually, I have this opportunity to work next summer as a chaperone at a
camp.
Summer camp. Goodness, I can't even say it. And it's just like I felt like the Lord is calling me there, and I really need to be there. And I've had a lot of people tell me like we think you should be there and all this stuff, but it's just like a huge sacrifice that I'm having to take if I do end up doing it. And like I wouldn't be able to do track practice all summer. I wouldn't be able to work Miss Illinois that we were talking about earlier. Like I wouldn't be able to spend this time with my family. I literally would move out of college exam week and then go there until August 1st. So I'd be there all summer. And I've just been like praying about it. I applied. I got a text last week. Like I have an interview this coming Tuesday, and so like I'm kind of like, Lord, like if this is what you want from me, let it happen. But I'm also like struggling with doubting God because I'm like, I know that you're calling me here, but I don't want to make all these sacrifices. And I was telling Colin this, but yesterday we were at River, and River's a coffee shop, obviously, and I was just like doing homework, and I looked up, and this random girl, like this camp is 6 hours away from here, and this girl had the Crossings logo on it, and it said like I exist to proclaim the gospel, go Crossings, and that's literally the shirt from the camp that I would be working at, and we're 6 hours away, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay God, like all right, you're not gonna let me tell you no, and it's just crazy how he works, and he's not gonna let you say no. And then just going back to what we were talking about earlier with like identity, like not being able to practice all summer is going to hurt me, and I may not be able to improve, but like again, I'm not only here for track, so I feel like that sacrifice is like something that I have to be willing to make and listen to God, and I think He just told me that's where He wanted me yesterday, and so like. The interview's on Tuesday. If I get it, I get it. That was God's plan. If not, it's also God's plan. So it's just something that. But then we get those moments and I'm like, wow, okay. Like I didn't even ask for you to send me a sign of some sort because I'm so nervous about it, but you did it anyways. And that you can't tell me that wasn't a sign. Like that literally says go crossing. Okay.
Is that camp like a high schoolers or like what?
It's like middle school through high school, and then the yellow shirts, which are like all the college leaders, are like what I would be, and basically just serve all summer long, every single day. You get paid, but it's like not like it's like $6 an hour when it comes out to it. But obviously, that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
But literally, it would be all summer long until August. So there's a lot of things I'd have to sacrifice, but if that's where God wants me, then that's where I'll be. So we'll just see.
Exactly. It's like it can be scary because all the things that you're missing out on over the summer you don't get. But like if you look at it in the sense of He has this plan for me. I'm supposed to be here. Think about all the things you can get from that.
Exactly.
And if it's from God, it's gonna be so much greater than practicing for track. Or I know you love your family, but you've been seeing your family for like the entire summer. And it's scary, but it definitely will be worth it if that's what you're meant to be.
I think it's really easy as Christians to be like, here I am, send me, you know, and like they teach us sometimes like preachers will be like, put your name in it. It's like, here Maddie is, here I am, send me. And it's so easy to pray that prayer, but then when it actually comes and you get this opportunity, you're like, like I don't know if I'm ready for this, but like I think just like realizing that God's plan is perfect and He's gonna put you where you want to be. I always grew up in church being like, yeah, I want to be a missionary and all this stuff, and not that I don't want to, but like when it like I said, when this opportunity comes about, I'm like, okay, like this is gonna take a lot of sacrifices, but then you look at all the people that are overseas and literally taking away their identity so they're not caught spreading the word of God. And I'm like, okay, I can sacrifice 3 months of my life. And that's not even what it's about. Some people are not called to move. Some people are not like we can do the same effect that I would be doing in that camp right here, right outside of these doors. And we're just sometimes we get so ashamed.
Like my church at home, we have missionaries, which is good. Like we send people out, but it's up to me. I'm always in my head like thinking we send all these people to all these other countries, yet we don't have anyone in our like at my small town. None of like there's plenty of people that aren't don't know don't even know anything about it, and yet we're not telling anything any of them. I'm like we could easily have. Why don't we have a missionary just stay here? Like we can all be in a way.
Like the I forget what verse it is, but the verse is like go out and make disciples. It's not like, hey, you, Maddie, go move to India and go proclaim the gospel. Well, that can be how you interpret it, and if that's what you're being called, that's great. Like I'm not bashing that at all. But so many people are like, oh, that's just their job. It's just the missionary's job to do that. Where like we are all, every single person who's a Christian, every single person who believes in the Bible, and in Christ is called to go make disciples. And like so exactly what you were saying, it's like I don't have like I guess a problem with it's not right, but it's like I feel like so often we see like, oh, the church is sending someone to XY country, where it's like imagine the impact that we could have on in just the world if we focus on us first, like our local communities first, get that local community so in love with Christ, so Christ following, and then branch out. Because if we can't even get our friends to do it, what makes you think that we can get random people that we've never met?
Right.
What's crazy too, like a lot of those countries where like people are going through like a lot more hardships than we are, usually end up becoming like a lot like, just they're like seem more passionate about Christ and all that. Like you come here and like people are just go to church on Sunday, but then other places they're like having to go to church like because they like underground because they don't want to like get killed, and like they're just like so much more like I don't know. They're not like taking it for granted. I feel like we can take it for granted a lot here.
There's times where like me or like others are like, oh, I can't go to SC, I have homework, but these people go at the risk of being killed in public, like all of this just to experience it more, and it's like it really like humbles you because it's like I have a little bit of homework that I could have done the entire week. I chose to wait till Sunday because people are risking their lives and their families' lives and everything just to hear the word.
I'm sitting here saying I'm going to sacrifice track practice when, like, there's people underground who literally, if they got caught for spreading the word of God, they would get killed. Like, that just kind of, it is humbling and puts it in perspective. Like, and like my youth pastor from home always says to the students, like, when they're going to school, you're starting in August. He said you're starting your 180 something day mission trip at school. Like I feel like that perspective of like we have to travel overseas or you have to go on a mission trip to be a missionary. That's not true. Like you can be a missionary if people are already Christians. It doesn't obviously we want to get more people to Christ, but like it's right outside these doors. Like as soon as I walk across back to my next class, I'm going to pass someone who doesn't know Jesus or who hasn't had someone try to light that fire in them. And it's like, wow. And obviously we're called to serve, and we're all called to serve in so many different ways. I thought I was going to be going to Haiti over the summer. And when that wasn't working out, I was like, okay, why is that not working out? And then now I get this opportunity to do this church camp thing.
Yeah. Where's that camp?
It's in Jonathan Creek, Kentucky. So it's like, I don't know if you guys know Kentucky because I'm not from anywhere near here, but like, Illinois, bottom of Illinois, Kentucky, right here. It's like right outside of Illinois.
Okay.
Is it gonna be like you're like in the tree, not like in the trees, but like in nature, I guess?
No, it has its own campus. Like there's.
It's not like those typical summer camps where you like people go in the middle of the world.
No, like it's specifically like a Christian summer camp.
Okay.
Like it's the camp I grew up going to for youth.
That'll be cool though. To just have some like you probably have like I'm thinking at least you probably have like a decent amount of like alone time, or no, not at all. I could see it being both ways maybe. Like time where you can kind of just like sit, read your Bible, and pray like on your own.
Well,
I don't know.
A lot of times, because like I went 2 times over this past summer. I went once with my home church as like a chaperone, so I just stayed in the dorms with them, and then I like basically job shadowed the next week because that's when I realized I might want to do this next summer. And it'd be crazy because like their days go from 7:30 a.m. to like 11:30.
Oh,
so
wow.
They would have to be like working breakfast at 7:30, and we had to do it too on my job shadowing week. And I'd be walking there, and there'd just be a bunch of yellow shirts like reading their Bible under the pavilion. And like it was inspiring because I try to tell myself I don't have time to get in the Word, but like they're working 7:30 to 11:30, going back, getting ready for bed,
getting up
coming
early.
up 4 hours late, 5 hours later, just to get in the Word. Like prioritizing that alone time, because I think that's important too. Even when we're serving God, I think it's important to get in the Word and get closer to God.
Oh yeah.
Even if we feel like sometimes I think also I'm like on Sundays I'm like, oh, I don't have to read my Bible. I read it enough today. I'm already holy enough today, but that's not true whatsoever. Like you just feel so refreshed when you get in the Word and do Bible studies with people and just having intentional conversations too.
Isn't it crazy? I think it's crazy at least to see how many people have been just like all in our just friend group in general on track, as we've gotten closer, we've all
Mhm.
keep getting closer to God as well.
Mhm.
And it's just really cool to see like how just different our friend group, like how everyone different in our groups is now compared to even a year ago.
Mhm.
And I think we're gonna have to say this exact same thing next year, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And I hope we do. So I'm not gonna knock on what's gonna happen. But it's like it's one of those things that it's crazy because like it's not us at the end of the day. Like we're not doing anything crazy. We're just being obedient and like we're inviting people. We're allowing us to have like vulnerable conversations with people, and it's like we're letting the Spirit guide us and letting Him move, which is something that's like it's really cool to see because I would have never guessed we'd be in that community that we have right now. My freshman year,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
last
I
year at this
came
time.
here scared to death that I'm not meeting anyone, and just like having intentional conversations. I think if the past 2.5 weeks has taught us anything, I think it's that we need to have intentional conversations.
Yep.
And like I spend a lot of time in school, and I was literally talking about this last night. Like, as much as I need to sleep, I really do. Like these people aren't going to be here forever, and we're all going to graduate eventually, and I'm not going to have this time to like mess around with people and laugh until I cry.
Yeah.
So like just being intentional and making sure that we know that sorry, I'm hungry. Making sure that we know like any certain time could be the last time we speak to someone, and just living life with that intention.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take anything for granted, and like that's why you never leave angry. But like I would love if my last conversation with people was about God.
Yeah.
Because I would want to know that that's what we left on, you know, instead of something stupid or something not about God or stuff like that.
I have one last question. I know you need to go print some stuff off before.
Yeah, I do.
You mentioned you feel like you've been spoken to about like your identity recently and how like it's not just about Christ and you maybe not called to do more, but like you feel like there's more to it. You willing to talk about that more?
Yeah, like here.
Yeah.
Well.
Or like maybe like a little bit like maybe not like a testimony, but like a little bit like the story and backing it up too.
Yeah. All right, we got time. Okay, it won't even take that long. So basically, I came here as a freshman and not the best athlete, and I'm not saying this to be like down on myself, but like obviously it's hard like when you work so hard for stuff and you're not seeing results. And I think last year as a freshman I did not see a lot of results. I wasn't improving whatsoever. I never met my high school times. I improved in some people's eyes. I didn't improve in triple jump, but in my eyes I did. Story for another time. But like
Oh yeah.
but I just like wasn't improving, and that was really hard. And it's like realizing that, and I think it was this year when it clicked that I'm working hard for this stuff, and again, I'm not here just for track. Because we talked a lot about last year when we finished the finish line, giving glory to God, whether it's good or bad. But I never had a good time to give glory. Like I never felt like I finished a race and I was like, wow, that was it. Because not hitting my high school times was so humbling. And it's like I'm doing so much harder workouts. Am I not working hard enough? Am I not like it just didn't make sense to me. And sometimes it still doesn't why I can't improve. And I'm hoping that this season will be better. But like I realize it's not all about what you do out on that track. It's about the person you are and the teammate that you are. And just like being here, realizing how many people it's so crazy that we all come from so many different places, and then it's like we all click so well. And just like kind of like over and over I can talk about again about how my identity is not defined in the track. And I'm realizing more and more that it doesn't matter what happens out there. I'm still going to work my butt off, and I'm still going to hope for results. But at the end of the day, I think my intention here is so much more. And I think it's branching out into my friends, and like especially being in Tri Delta too. It's been hard. I've spoke about that, but I hope that I can continue to be a positive influence in that house. And like I don't know what the future holds for me, honestly. Struggling with that a lot lately too, with like if I'm still gonna be doing sorority stuff or if I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of gonna let God take that over, but it's just realizing that like we come here a lot, especially Milliken. If you're not a theater major, you're here for a sport, basically. Give or take like a couple
good
people.
4 students that aren't.
Yeah. So when stuff doesn't go your way, and when Sophia was doing her testimony the other day, that was like, wow, okay, like, you know, you're kind of going through the same thing that I am. And track's different too, because it's like individual results. Like, not really everyone will know that I'm not hitting my times because they don't know me that well, but you know if you're not playing, you know? So just realizing that, like, if I get better, I get better, and if I don't, I'm not going to give up. But it doesn't really matter what happens out there. I'm still going to work so hard. But, I mean, I feel like that kind of circles back to identity, you know? And I didn't feel like this last year. Last year, I was like, okay, this really sucks. Why am I not hitting my high school times? Like, that's embarrassing. Why am I so far away from my high school times? And then, like, those texts, I'll be like, Maddie got her season best. Like, I don't want my season best. I want my personal best.
Yeah.
And why am I literally, like, doing such hard workouts that I never did in high school and not able to, like, do better? But hopeful for this year. But like I said, I think that I have a lot more to focus on than just the track. I think there's more to be done, and I think we've been seeing a move on this campus. I think that's like our calling to do even more. But yeah.
I don't know if this will make you feel better about it, and I didn't beat any of my college PRs until my junior year, or my high school PRs in college until my junior year.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best, but we'll see. It's weird how that works.
I know, it is kind of weird.
I think it's just kind of the transitioning of coaching. You're so used to something for so long, and then you come somewhere else, and it's like, okay, I'm getting used to this.
And it changes again. But they also, like, so there is something freeing about not holding on to the results too, that sometimes help the results. Like, it's a weird way to think about it, because it's like whenever you just end up relying completely on God, and you're like you are still putting in the work. It's not like, oh, I'm not going to show up to practice at all, and then God can. That's not necessarily how it works. But it's like you're still putting in the work. But like at the end of the day, you're like, all right, like whatever happens, it doesn't matter, because like He's in control, and whatever happens is His will, and I'm gonna glorify Him throughout whatever happens, and like release like that, like it's all me, and like that stress over it. Crazy things can happen, and like even if they don't, like it doesn't matter, because like your identity isn't that. So it's like it's really freeing, and like sometimes like it has like, just the idea of like it allows you to almost perform even better, because like it doesn't matter what the result is, as long as you glorify Him.
Yeah, and like putting things into the like grand scheme of things, like I'm like, well, I'm working so hard for something, but maybe my purpose is, while I'm working so hard, to be an influence to people. You know, like when we're all dying on the track, being that one person that can hold people up, instead of like, oh, we're working harder to get better. Like obviously that's the goal, but we're also working harder to influence to others, because that's when people need it the most. Is like when they're down, and even if it's not like a okay, don't be tired, God loves you. Like, it's like my influence on people, and I hope that I can do that as well. And I think just like putting that into perspective, and you trace it back, full circle moment, like we talked about in FCA, but like there's so much more to it than just running a race and getting a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that like finding my identity in Christ and on track has really made me realize that.
Well, think about how many times, like if you think about the time when results matter in track, like when you're actually running a race, I guess I mean, like the amount of time you're on the track versus everywhere else in your life is not very significant. Like it's a lot. It's all the other moments. It's the moments in between the races. I feel like really where it really is where you kind of show. Is where you. I mean, you can obviously be like Christ and represent Him in your race, but it's really all those other moments that like people are gonna notice.
And I mean, that's why we're friends with all the people that we're friends with. We're friends with people because of track. And I wouldn't be friends with like everyone I'm super close with if it wasn't for track. But like you're right.
Yeah, God's using the track team. I feel like He really used it to like bring a lot of us just together.
Exactly. And like it's like, yeah, we're only gonna be in pain for what, 30 minutes, you know?
Like the whole
during hard workouts.
The whole story of how you're. I don't know if you recruited more for your jumping or for your running, but the whole story of how he looked you had the wrong mark.
Yeah. They put in the wrong mark.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if it wasn't like that got me here, like there was a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna beat that time. Beat that jump.
I think so eventually too.
And like you said, you're not only here for track. Like there's a bigger reason.
I didn't realize that until this year, honestly.
And it's a scary thing because it's like if I were to be cut off the track team right now, where would I be? Like, would I like how much would that define my identity? It's like because I am so like I'm still like ingrained. I guess I don't want to say ingrained in the culture because that sounds kind of weird. But it's like I am like in FCA. Like I am leaders in FCA. Like, I am to the point where it's like if I were to leave because it's like oh track over here like my community and everything that I just built up here is gone. So it's like really focusing less on like oh I need to perform on the track. It's like also like I would still like to perform on the track and do well, but it's like as long as it's not results based on me at the middle, it's God at the middle. I love it.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you want to say? All right. We end with the perfect dap. You know this because you're a viewer.
The what?
The perfect dap.
Even though the last 3 podcasts, the phone was dead when we did it then.
Is it like a 3-way?
No, it's just
No,
me.
just
Like, it has to be the.
Is that it? No.
Maybe that person will probably this.
How many?
No, till we get it. Till we get the perfect sound. You'll know.
Cup your hand a little bit more.
She's like clawing it now. Come on. Our first one was
the first
definitely
one was
perfect.
better. I just grab his thumb.
Come on.
Okay.
Maddie, hey, lock in. Focus.
All right, 5 more tries.
I think that's it.
We're calling out. I didn't even finish it. Okay.
Wait, Colin doesn't get one?
No, you can do it, Colin, if you want.
I mean, I just stopped it, but.
Alright. Moving on.